The scent of decay lingered in the air, a putrid mixture of rot and despair. Bodies lay sprawled along the dirt roads, their skin clinging to brittle bones, eyes hollow and unseeing. The wails of starving children echoed through the desolate village, their cries blending into the ceaseless wind. Hunger had transformed our world into a graveyard before death had even claimed us. My stomach clenched as I staggered into our home, the wooden walls barely holding together against the creeping cold. My father loomed over me, his face twisted in anger.
"You useless girl!"
He spat, his voice thick with resentment.
"Your brother needs to eat. Get up and find something before he wastes away."
I flinched as his hand cracked against my cheek, sending me reeling. My brother, his golden child, curled under a thin blanket, too weak to lift his head. I swallowed my protest, knowing it would do nothing but earn me another blow. Instead, I obeyed, dragging myself beyond the dying village into the skeletal grasp of the forest. The trees stretched above me like twisted ribs, their barren branches whispering in the wind. I searched for anything. Roots, berries, even insects. But the earth had long since been stripped bare. My knees buckled beneath me and I collapsed against a moss-covered rock, my breath coming in ragged gasps. Then the scent came, sweet, earthy, irresistible. I turned my head and saw it, an unfamiliar plant nestled between gnarled roots, its leaves shimmering in the dim light. I reached out, plucking a handful and lifting them to my nose. The aroma wrapped around me like a comforting embrace, drowning out the gnawing emptiness in my stomach. Desperate, I placed a leaf on my tongue. Flavors exploded in my mouth. Warm bread, roasted meat, honeyed fruits. My vision blurred, my body sinking into blissful relief as the hunger dissolved. My last thought before darkness claimed me was that I had finally found salvation. When I awoke, the forest had shifted. The brittle cold had softened into something almost welcoming. I touched my stomach. No pain, no hunger. I felt alive. I gathered as much of the plant as I could carry and returned home, breathless with excitement. My father barely spared me a glance, but my brother, my frail, dying brother, parted his cracked lips when I pressed a small leaf to them. He chewed weakly at first, then more eagerly, his sunken cheeks flushed with colour, and before my eyes, he changed. That night we feasted. The hunger that had plagued us melted away, replaced by warmth, by laughter. For the first time in months, we dreamed of a future where we might survive. Morning came with screams. I opened my eyes to chaos. Villagers surrounding our home, their faces twisted in horror. My father stood at the doorway, pointing a trembling finger at me.
"She's a demon!"
He howled.
"She devoured her own brother!"
I turned in confusion, my gaze landing on the bed where my brother had lain. But he was no longer there. Instead, bones jutted from the mattress, gleaming white and clean, picked dry as if by unseen hands. My hands. "No," I whispered, stumbling backward. "No, I didn't." They didn't listen. They never listened. Torches flared, the flames reflecting in their wild eyes as they surged forward. I ran. My feet pounded against the dirt, the forest swallowing me whole as I plunged into its depths. The voices faded, but the betrayal lingered. I would never return. Never again. Days blurred into weeks, then months. The forest became my home, the only place that didn't seek to destroy me. I lived on the plant, my hunger forever sated, my body never growing weak. I was alone. Until her. A girl. Thin as a reed, shivering beneath the trees. Her clothes hung from her bony frame, her eyes sunken and dull. I recognized that look, the acceptance of death, but I would not let it claim her. I knelt beside her, pressing a leaf to her hands. "Eat," I whispered. She hesitated before taking the offering. Her lips parted, and as she chewed, her gaze locked onto mine. For the first time in ages, I felt warmth spread through me. A connection. A purpose. Sleep claimed us both. When I woke, the world had changed again. My humble forest shelter had vanished. In its place stood a house unlike any I had ever seen. Walls of gingerbread, windows of spun sugar, a roof dripping with caramel. The air was thick with the scent of confections, an overwhelming sweetness that made my head spin. I turned to the girl, but she was gone. All that remained were her clothes, crumpled in a heap near a dark stain on the ground. My breath caught in my throat. No, she must have left, must have found her way home. I told myself this lie over and over. I stayed, I rebuilt. I tended to the plants, waiting for another lost soul to wander in. Each time I welcomed them. Each time I offered them salvation. And each time, when I awoke, they were gone. The hunger never returned, but neither did they.
I'm Edna, and I live in a village near the edge of the forest. The young girls here are often targeted by big wolves, and these red scarves dyed with madder roots are the only things that protect us.
Edna, we need your help. Ruby got hurt and can't go into the forest. Can you take her place?
Of course I can. Every year, the villagers send a girl into the forest to give offerings to the old witch, hoping she'll bring a bountiful harvest.
You have to hand this basket to her and follow her instructions. And remember, don't lose this red scarf, or the wolves will smell you.
I looked at Ruby, who was supposed to go. She looked at me anxiously, like she wanted to say something. I know going into the forest is dangerous, but I agreed to take Ruby's place because I want to find out what happened to my sister, Sophie, who disappeared 5 years ago. This forest is always foggy, damp and dark, making it hard to tell day from night. The only colours I see are from the mushrooms. I tried picking one, but even though they look pretty, they smell like rotten meat. I saw some bright red flowers too, but I didn't want to pick them anymore. I heard wolves howling all over the forest. I felt like a pair of bloodthirsty eyes were secretly watching me in the dark. But when I turned around, I didn't see anything. I felt really uneasy. I walked a little further and found a bear. It was lying weakly on the ground, with its leg trapped under a big branch. It looked like it had been there for days. I felt sorry for the bear and wanted to help. I tried lifting the branch, but it wasn't as heavy as I thought. While I was using my Red Riding Hood to bandage the bear's leg, it suddenly thanked me. It scared me.
Thank you, kind girl. To thank you, I'll warn you that a wolf is following you.
I surprised, but quickly responding. Don't worry, I have this red scarf. The wolf won't be able to find me.
No one who's been targeted by the wolf can escape.
Don't worry, I'll go to the witch's house right away. I'll be safe there. I finally found the wooden house in the middle of the forest.
Come in.
The whole house smelled damp and cold. Mushrooms were growing on the corners of the walls and next to the table, making the house seem like it was part of the forest outside. It didn't feel warm or safe at all. It seemed like the owner of this house was very lonely. My name is Edna. The villagers sent me to visit you. Are you sick?
Yes, I'm sick. So please let me lie in bed and don't come near me.
I thought fresh food might make the old woman feel better. But when I opened the basket, all the food was rotten. This is strange. It shouldn't take more than half a day to get here from the village. How could the food go bad so quickly?
You must be hungry. I've made you a mushroom soup.
I did as she said and opened the pot of soup, but the soup inside was dark and thick, with a fishy smell that made me want to throw up. I don't make the old woman sad. I secretly poured the soup away. The soup was delicious. Thank you for dinner. The lonely old woman wanted me to stay with her for the night. But in the middle of the night, I was woken up by the sound of her whispering with someone. Curious, I looked towards the door. The person I thought was an old woman had a face exactly like my sister. Sophie.
Hansel, you're late.
That girl dropped her red scarf, which made me lose track and eat a corpse. It was disgusting.
She ate the mushroom soup and fell asleep. Just like our agreement. You take the soul, and I take the body.
Was my poor sister possessed like this too? My whole body froze, and I ran out of that scary house, trembling. It turned out that the sacrifice wasn't the offerings I brought, but myself. I have to escape this forest and expose the horrible truth to the villagers. The bright red flowers from the day were actually dried pools of blood, and the colourful mushrooms grew from them. They were the ones causing the hallucinations. It seems these mushrooms were the real cause of the illusions. I met the bear I had saved again, but it had been dead for days, its body rotting, its stomach ripped open. Suddenly, a cold wind rushed by, making my hair stand on end. Hansel had caught my scent. Terrified and desperate, I tried to back away from the evil creature. My hand crushed a cluster of mushrooms. These mushrooms, although they caused me to hallucinate, also made me stronger. I recklessly grabbed the whole cluster and ate them greedily. A feeling of dizziness washed over me. A sense of power filled my entire body. I stubbornly charged forward and attacked, stabbing the village chief in the eye, making him scream in pain. After taking down the wolf, I ran away, but Sophie blocked my path. Her body had rotted, turning into a giant, hideous mushroom. I picked up the bare bone and rushed to fight, but the person in front of me was just an illusion. Confused, I looked at my hand, and suddenly my stomach felt like it was being pierced through with pain. The feeling of pain pulled me out of the hallucination. It turned out I was just struggling in vain. That bastard Hansel had caught me, taken over me. My body was being enveloped by the mushrooms. I could clearly feel my soul being gradually sucked away. There was no more pain, no more torment, only a numbness that led to death.
The slipper is still in my hand, cold and delicate, catching the light in glimmers. I look into its glassy surface and barely recognize the creature reflected there. A girl with ragged clothes, matted hair, and twisted features. Only last night, I was beautiful with a little help of dark magic. I wore that slipper, I danced in those arms. And now, I am back here, beneath the soot-streaked bricks, crouching in the dark, hiding from my stepmother and her wretched daughters. Then, I hear a murmur from the streets beyond. The prince. He's announced he will marry the girl who fits this slipper. It's a strange hope in my heart, a strange, desperate longing to be the one he sees again, to have that beauty back and hold it forever. But my stepmother, she'd never let me leave this house. Through the dust, I hear her voice shriek from above. They're already gathering their best gowns, my two stepsisters bickering over which jewels to wear. as if any of it would matter. None of them has ever had the slipper on their foot. None of them knows the lightness, the power it brings. But I do. I can hardly stand as I slip through the door and find Clara, the eldest sister, fitting herself into a pile of silk. "You're trying the slipper," I whisper, not letting her see the disdain curling my lips. "You know you'll need to trim those hideous toes." Clara scoffs, but she eyes her foot nervously. She hates me, loathes me, but she hates her oversized feet even more.
Fine,
She hisses.
but do it for me. Only a little.
She thrusts her foot toward me, and with trembling hands I raise the axe. With each snip her face contorts, but she's greedy as our mother. I slip my fingers under her heel and tighten my grip, watching as her blood trickles, her anger and pain bubbling through a mask of helpless desperation. The first scream dies in her throat when I slit it. It's messy, sticky, and all too thrilling. I feel her warmth sink into my fingers. Her blood seeps over my hands, and, without thinking, I bring it to my mouth. And that taste raw, it feels like the clock winding backward, like youth and beauty are seeping through me again. I lick my hands. I drink from her lifeless palm, and my cheeks flush, the wrinkles smooth. My reflection grows fairer, just as I had been at the ball. Now she's nothing but silence, crumpled on the floor, and yes, I am beautiful once more. But that's not enough. Her younger sister, Helena, comes in next, her brow furrowed as she sees Clara slumped over.
What did you...
She starts, but her suspicion quickly turns to arrogance.
Just leave her there. Clean up later. Help me with my shoes.
I smile, my teeth catching the dim candlelight, and say, "I think you should cut off the heel."
Whatever, just make it quick.
Helena never thinks twice. She snaps her fingers, turns her nose up, and believes all will obey. I kneel by her side, sliding her foot toward me, my mind already buzzing with the weight of what I'm about to do. I hold the knife close to her skin, pressing just so, watching her face twist in that perfect moment of realization just before I slice. She yelps, but she's too stunned to fight back. I press down harder and harder until her screams grow muffled, then silent. Her blood is as rich as her sister's, and I drink it down, feeling its heat merge with mine. Each swallow makes my skin smoother, my face softer, my reflection sharper, more enchanting. The darkness within me rises, blossoming like some wicked flower, filling my chest with the thrill of revenge, of beauty, of finally being more than the shadow beneath the stairs. When I stand, I am radiant. I am reborn. Then my dearest stepmother came home. As usual, she barked out orders for me to set the dinner table. I complied, carrying out a lavish platter of meat. I looked radiant, but she didn't spare me a glance. She didn't even notice my change. Her eyes were always reserved for her own daughters, never me. She started eating, and between bites she asked,
"Where are the girls? Why aren't they joining us for dinner?"
I smiled. Oh, I helped them fit into the glass slipper. I had to trim their toes and shave off their heels. Her chewing slowed, her face pale. Then she gagged. The realization hit her like a thunderclap. She spat out her food and clutched her stomach, retching violently. She had been feasting on her daughter's remains. I seized the opportunity. Moving swiftly, I grabbed her from behind and wrapped my hands around her throat. She struggled, clawing at my arms, but I squeezed tighter until her body went limp and collapsed to the floor. But as I stared at my reflection in the silver tray, I saw the beauty fading, the glow, the perfection slipping away. Desperate, I leaned down and drank from her lifeless body. I couldn't stop. The blood coursed through me, intoxicating and powerful, but I had drunk too much. My skin sagged, my frame distorted. My once delicate features twisted into something grotesque. I had consumed more than blood. I had consumed my own humanity. Then I hear a knock at the door. The prince. His voice calls out, strong and clear, asking for the woman who fits the slipper. I pull myself upright, grasping the slipper, limping and shuddering as I make my way toward him, past the bodies of those who once mocked me. I throw open the door, the slipper clutched in my hand, a desperate smile on my cracked, bloodied lips. The prince's eyes go wide. He stumbles back, his mouth agape as he takes in the horror before him. "Wait!" I scream, my voice more like a howl now. I shove the slipper toward him, but the soldiers have already drawn their swords. They don't see me, they see a monster, and as they lunge, blades flashing, my final scream echoes through the halls, a shriek of beauty corrupted, of vengeance that demanded too much.
Once upon a time, they called the younger stepsister a goblin, until the day she began chiseling herself into a princess. I used to think that love could forgive anything, even a face like mine. People called me names when I was little. Goblin girl, plump elf, crooked nose freak. I got used to it. I buried myself in books and wrote poems under the sheets at night, stringing together words about a prince I'd never meet. But then he came along, Prince Han. He wrote verses more beautiful than I ever could. I clipped his poems from the Castle Gazette and hid them in a box beneath my bed. I told myself, if someone like him could write like that, then maybe he could also see beyond the surface of things. That hope kept me warm. After my mother passed away, I stayed behind in the manor, living with my stepsister Cinderella. Cinderella was born lovely. Thin lips, pale skin, the kind of effortless beauty that earned glances from strangers before she even spoke. She was kind to me, in the way one is kind to a younger sister. But kindness isn't the same as understanding. When people looked at the two of us, they assumed who was chosen and who was forgotten. Then came the day in the woods. I had only wandered beneath the trees, hoping the quiet might soothe me, when distant laughter broke through the stillness. It was Prince Han and his hunting party, all dressed in silks and boasting about their exploits. One of them asked what kind of girl Han liked, and he didn't even pause.
Sharp angles, wide eyes, lashes like fans, a high nose, porcelain skin, a tiny waist, and a fragile frame. That was the kind of beauty I wanted. And in the end, I was the one who set the standard for this entire kingdom.
Then they laughed, the kind of laughter that feels like teeth. He turned suddenly, his gaze landing on the trees where I crouched behind a trunk. His smile didn't falter.
And of course, only beautiful girls need apply. The ugly ones shouldn't even bother.
They roared again, louder this time, like hunters circling something they never meant to show mercy to. I didn't cry. I went home. That night, I stood in front of the mirror and made a promise. If beauty was the only language the prince understood, then I would learn it. I would speak it fluently. And so I began. Every morning, I pulled my corset so tight that it left raw lines across my belly. I fainted twice before noon during that first week. Then I visited the cosmetic apothecaries in the capital, trading family jewels for syringes, scalpels, and sterile hooks. They molded my face like clay, slicing, stitching, stretching. My nose was clamped in a metal brace until it bled. My lashes were sewn into place with threads so thin it shimmered in candlelight. My jaw was shaved to look sharper. Though the pain was unbearable, I clenched my teeth and endured it, whispering to myself that it would all pass, so long as it made me beautiful. I didn't stop eating. I couldn't. But I found another way. There's a trick with tapeworms, you see. You swallow the eggs and they eat for you. Your stomach shrinks and you still feel full. I told myself it was clever. Cinderella saw what I was doing. She begged me to stop, held my wrists as I trembled with pain after a facial nerve spasm.
You don't need to do this.
You were born beautiful. You'll never understand what it means to be told, every day, that you are less than human because of your face. She didn't reply. She just stood there, guilt pressing against her silence. The royal ball arrived. I walked in with a waist as slim as my breath, lips painted in a trembling curve. For once, people stared, no longer with pity or revulsion, but with admiration. Han looked at me and smiled. He asked me to dance. I floated toward the floor on fragile heels, my heart light, as if I were stepping into a dream finally made real. But then she arrived. Cinderella. Her dress shimmered like mist, her presence swallowing every eye in the room. Han turned and I watched his gaze drift, then fix, then hunger. He dropped my hand as if I were never there. He asked her to dance. I stood at the edge, shivering beneath my borrowed beauty, and felt something cave inside me. I fled before the first chord of the waltz. Cinderella chased me home. In her rush, she lost a shoe on the palace steps. Glass, delicate, absurd. Han picked it up, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of a hunter who had just caught the scent of something rare. When Cinderella returned, we argued. Why did you come to the ball dressed like that? Did you want the prince to notice you that badly? You were born beautiful. Why did you have to compete with me too?
I only came to find you.
But I didn't believe her. Not then. Then the door suddenly burst open. Han stood at the threshold, the glass slipper gleaming in his hand.
Whoever fits this will be my bride.
Something in me snapped. I smiled, cold and sharp, and shoved my foot into the glass slipper, but it was far too small. I picked up a carving knife and walked to the front hall. Han didn't flinch. He watched, intrigued as I raised the knife and hacked off my biggest toe. Blood painted the floor like a carpet. I shoved my foot into the shoe. It fit. See? I'm perfect now.
Only 4 toes? Disgusting.
He pushed me away. My chest tightened, and suddenly, all the pain I had endured felt meaningless. Was it all truly for someone like the prince? The tears streamed down my face, unstoppable. Cinderella had picked up the other shoe and slammed it into Han's head. He collapsed. We tied him to a chair in the basement, his mouth gagged, eyes wide with disbelief. He looked at us like we were the monsters.
No more suffering in silence. He'll understand what he made us become.
We began. We used the same tools they'd used on us. Surgical thread, nose clamps, heated bone presses. I kept the iron rods steady as Cinderella quietly sewed his eyelids wider, murmuring poems that sounded all too familiar, perhaps even mine. With each pulled thread, each careful slice along his skin, I saw the echoes of a pain I had once survived. He wept through it all. By the time we were done, his face was grotesque, exaggerated, hollow, warped by the very standards he once worshipped. We didn't stay. We packed the jewelry, wrapped our wounds, and left the kingdom behind. Somewhere far, I hoped, there might be a place where beauty wasn't currency, where people like me didn't have to carve themselves into someone else's fantasy. Cinderella held my hand as we walked, and for the first time, I believed her when she said I was beautiful. Perhaps there was never any true standard of beauty at all. I didn't need to please the prince or anyone else. I only needed to be myself.
What's going on? Feels like I just woke up from a long dream. Where did this red mark come from? Can't wipe it off. Oh well, no big deal. Good thing I'm handsome. This scar actually looks kinda cool. I'm Jacob, a free knight. Today, I'm going to run away with my princess. Her name is Rapunzel.
Monster, go to hell! Yeah, kill her and take her eyes back to atone to the prince.
What are you doing? She's Rapunzel. She's just a poor girl who was trapped in this castle by a witch.
Open your eyes. All we see here is a monster that just killed someone.
Gothel is dead. Rapunzel. My Rapunzel. I anxiously looked up for Rapunzel. She was still sitting by the windowsill, but her golden hair had turned pitch black and her mouth was sealed shut. This must be Gothel's enemies. They came to harm both her and Rapunzel. These soldiers are no better. I'll make all of you pay. Rapunzel, where am I? My body feels like something terrible has happened, but my mind is completely blank. Why am I here, with strange marks all over my body? Marks in places that could have been fatal. Could it be Gothel found out about me and Rapunzel and did something to separate us? I have to find Rapunzel right away. What really happened to Rapunzel? The unease within me kept growing stronger. I had to deal with these soldiers quickly and rescue Rapunzel as soon as possible, even if it meant resorting to methods far from heroic. But just as I was about to reach her soft, flowing hair, a sudden chill ran across my neck. My body went numb, completely out of my control. I had failed. I couldn't save Rapunzel. Once again, I made her cry because of me. I refused to close my eyes, but darkness consumed my mind, swallowing me whole.
Even if you blind him, Mother, you can't tear our love apart.
When I could see light again, I found myself inside Rapunzel's tower.
Tonight he'll come for me and take me away from here.
That filthy mouth of yours never says anything good. Just singing and flirting to seduce men. I'll seal it shut.
Wait, this is all a misunderstanding. Why is this happening? It's like I'm nothing but a ghost, invisible to the both of them. I could do nothing but watch helplessly as Rapunzel fell victim to the curse.
Let's see how your prince will find you now.
She's the one who blinded the prince. That monster in the tower can't be any better. Burn it down.
I wanted to run to Rapunzel, to take her away. But before I could reach her, the scene before me shifted again. I found myself standing before the castle again, facing the soldiers once more. It hit me. I was nothing more than a bystander, helplessly witnessing Rapunzel's painful memories play out. It was Rapunzel all along, using her hair's magic to save me repeatedly, while I was trapped in a memoryless loop, dying a bitter death each time. And each time, only she carried the full weight of our memories, forced to watch me die before her eyes, only to bring me back with her magic once more. My lie made Gothel mistake me for the prince. In her rage, she blinded the real prince, sparking the kingdom's vengeance. And Rapunzel, innocent and undeserving, was caught in the chaos. Rapunzel, don't hurt yourself. This time, I swear, I will save her and break this endless loop. The enemy before me was suddenly struck down, impaled by something sharp. It was a strand of hair. I stared in shock as the strand of hair moved toward me, but it only brushed against my cheek, as if gently caressing me.
Don't be afraid, it's me. I've discovered I can control my hair. This time, let me fight alongside you.
Before my eyes unfolded a gruesome massacre, or rather it wasn't even a fight. Only one side was slaughtered, helpless and unable to resist. With the enemies cleared from my path, I strode confidently toward the tower. Rapunzel was waiting for me, and I gently pulled her into my arms. Rapunzel, I'm sorry for deceiving you. I'm not a prince. I'm just a cowardly knight named Jacob.
The one I love has always been you, Jacob. I'm just glad you're safe.
This land was no longer safe for us. I would take Rapunzel far away. Somewhere in the countryside, we would build a home together and live happily ever after.
Stefan, I curse you! One day a blade will pierce your heart. You will lose what you cherish most and die a gruesome death.
That terrifying dream again. That dark witch may have been destroyed by my own hands, but her dreadful curse still haunts me.
Father, wake up, what's wrong?
I just feel a little tired. Happy birthday, my dear Aurora. You're 16 now. After I defeated Maleficent and took over the sacred forest, the kingdom flourished, but one by one my loved ones left me. Now only Aurora remains. Aurora was born with a curse, that on her 16th birthday she would prick her finger on a spindle and fall into a deep sleep. But I burned every spinning wheel in the kingdom. I will prove that these curses are nothing but nonsense.
Your Majesty, the princess has collapsed in the basement. The curse has come true.
No, that's impossible. After days of trying everything to wake Aurora with no success, I had to accept the truth. The curse had really come true.
Your Majesty, all the witches in the kingdom have gathered at the palace.
But I won't give up. Aurora, sleep peacefully in your own castle. I will find a way to break this curse. The most powerful witches were summoned to the castle, yet none of them could offer anything useful. And yet, some still dare to slack off on their duties. Take the soldier on my left and execute him immediately. Trying to play tricks, are you? Eric, check on him for me.
Your Majesty,
He has fallen into a deep sleep, just like the princess.
My heart nearly stopped. A chill ran through my body. Could the curse still not be over? Within days, a strange sleeping plague spread across the kingdom. Anyone who closed their eyes would never open them again. I held a council that lasted for days, summoning every witch and healer in the land, but no one could find a way to stop it. Panic consumed the people. They did everything to stay awake, torturing themselves, taking stimulants, even cutting their own skin to fight off sleep. But in the end, exhaustion always won. More and more fell victim to the curse. They lay still like the dead, bodies warm, breath steady, yet completely unresponsive. Just like Aurora. No matter if this was a curse or something else, as king, I had to find a way to stop it. Beat him until he wakes up. The soldiers obeyed, landing a hard kick on the sleeping man. And he woke up as a monstrous, bloodthirsty creature. Kill them all! But those bitten turned into the same horrifying beasts. Like the zombie, the two monsters were slain with ease. But the danger was far from over, in fact. It was only beginning to spread. Issue an order across the entire kingdom. No one is allowed to wake the sleeping. But all my efforts to stop it were too late. The awakened zombies went on a rampage, infecting everyone around them. The kingdom fell into unprecedented chaos. Witches and healers were summoned once again. And once again, they left empty-handed. I could only gather the survivors within the castle, raising walls of thorns to keep the zombie at bay. But it was only a temporary measure. I knew that the only way to stop this was to find the source of the plague.
Aurora must be the cause. She's been dead, but the king refused to bury her. Her body must be spreading something unclean.
You think so too? The others are already planning to burn down the Rose Castle.
How dare you touch my daughter? Guards, stop them immediately. You beasts, stay away from my daughter.
Your Majesty, let us destroy the source of the plague. It's the only way to end this.
No, my daughter is not the source. This is a curse. Maleficent's curse. Suddenly, horrifying screams filled the air. The beautiful roses twisted and turned into bloodthirsty monsters. At this moment, I had to admit it. This was Maleficent's revenge, and I had lost completely. Maleficent, I know you're still out there. I betrayed you all those years ago, but Aurora is innocent. Out of nowhere, the thorny vines slowly parted, revealing a path leading to the castle. I walked into the castle with ease, making my way to Aurora's bedside. She lay there peacefully, as if at any moment she would open her eyes, look at me with those beautiful blue irises and call out, "Father." Maleficent, Aurora has done nothing wrong. Give her back to me. I'm willing to trade my life for hers. A bone-chilling cold surged through my body. My strength drained in an instant. My skin shriveled, my limbs withered, my flesh dried up like a corpse drained of blood. Aurora opened her eyes, but she was no longer my beloved daughter.
Stefan, I never thought someone like you could truly love another.
Maleficent? Why is it you? Where is my daughter? How dare you use her body to house your filthy soul?
Father, why would you call me a filthy soul? I erased all my hatred so I could be reborn as your daughter. We've been a happy father and child for 16 years, haven't we?
No, this can't be.
Thank you, Father. Thanks to your genuine love, the sleeping curse has been broken. And now, my soul has awakened once more, along with every memory of my past life. This kingdom of lies and cruelty, these people who destroyed my sacred forest, they will all pay the price. They will all become part of the forest's fungi.